We may be witnessing the beginning of an era that will mean the complete annihilation of man.
Annihilation?
Johnny, we don't hear much about the Loch Ness Monster anymore. Yeah, Johnny, there's a very good reason why we don't hear much about the Loch Ness Monster anymore. Why? He's dead. Dead? What brings you to that bloody conclusion? Yeah, he's extinct. I mean, if you don't bloody hear anything and no one's hunting for him and they've never found anything and no one's bothered anymore, Jesus Christ, Johnny, have you thought this through? When was the last time you had a conversation with anybody about the Loch Ness Monster, for Christ's sake? Jesus, well, I suppose if you... Well, yeah. No one is not even on the agenda anymore. So if he's no longer on the agenda and no one gives a shit about it, well, you have to bloody assume that he's extinct. Yeah, extinct. Gone like the bloody, the Dodo. Even though the Dodo was actually real, but you get the point.
If you are the person that solved the identity of the Loch Ness Monster, that sets you up to be international monster hunter. Go and solve some of the other ones.
True. The world is riddled with strange and unsolved mysteries.
Johnny, the Loch Ness Monster generates a lot of bloody money for the local community. The little pubs and shit around the place, they depend on him being real. They don't want him to go extinct. They want to keep bloody looking for this creature that's obviously not there. I mean, I know there was all this bloody hubbub for years, for bloody near a century or more, about this bloody mythical beast that lives in the bloody cold, dark waters of Loch Ness. But being realistic, Johnny, we haven't seen any decent photos of the bloody Loch Ness Monster or any bloody sightings for years. He's definitely gone off the boil, which in my view makes him bloody extinct.
Well, at first I thought he was joking. He's not joking.
I mean, he has to have a multimedia bloody a presence, and he hasn't got that.
It's extremely blurry. Most people now agree that this picture was actually of his dog fetching a stick. The second was the surgeon's photograph, which popularized the image of Nessie having a long protruding neck. Unfortunately, this picture too has been declared a hoax, reportedly made using wood putty and a toy submarine. While there have been a lot of purported photos of Nessie since, most have been dismissed by experts as really showing birds, floating logs, unusual weather conditions, or pranks.
Well, what about the abominable snowman then? The Yeti? Well, he's the same, Johnny. When was the last time you saw a bloody photo in the newspaper that we used to see when we were kids, back in the 60s? You'd see him regularly. When was the last time you saw a bloody photo or some bloody incident that involved the bloody the Yeti or abominable snowman? I would put it to you that we haven't seen one for fucking years. So, Johnny, should there be an official bloody a word on whether the Loch Ness Monster is really extinct, like from the bloody from David Attenborough or someone? Well, that would help. David Attenborough, he's bloody very well respected. I'm sure if he came out and said something along those lines, Loch Ness Monster would be put to rest.
Bars, which are thought to have been the gill bars, the little constructions that carry blood vessels which enabled the animal to extract oxygen from the water as it flowed over and breathe.
I don't know whether David Attenborough was a big believer in Nessie, actually, but anyway, it would be good for him to come out and say that the Loch Ness Monster is gone, it's extinct. I'm not sure about the government, though. The government are pretty bloody slow on the bloody uptake on these sort of things. They don't come out and mention aliens and flying saucers and Loch Ness Monsters and Yetis and all. They don't mention those things all that much. It's almost as if they're a bit frightened of being associated with these particular bloody things. I don't know whether the world's ready for an extinct Loch Ness Monster, Johnny. I think the world's moved on, Johnny. We're too busy here worrying about Netflix and our mobile phones and devices and our social media presence and all that sort of bloody stuff. And hanging on to our job by our bloody fingernails to be worrying about whether there's some big fucking thing in Loch Ness.
Living dinosaurs on Earth today would be one of the greatest discoveries in human history. And if anybody thought there was a chance of plesiosaurs being alive and well in rural Scotland, the best paleontologists in the world would all flock to Loch Ness. There are other, much more likely explanations for the mystery. The objects in many photos are probably birds, floating logs, waves, ripples, or just pure hoaxes.
So, Johnny, we here at the Ask Johnny channel, we're doing the job of David Attenborough or the Scottish government or whatever, and we're going to put out on international television that the Loch Ness Monster is extinct. Jesus Christ, Johnny, are you sure? And Johnny, those great old days, they'll probably never come again.
Annihilation.
The beginning of the end.
A menace so massive, so overwhelming,